Welcome to the Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report for the week ending September the 16th. Given Husker Harvest Days and a limitation on being able to take a full look at the market here this week, I want to bring you a feature interview. I was able to sit down with Nebraska Extension's Randy Sainer and discuss the upcoming 4S Goat Expo. Randy starts off by giving us all the details and rundown of what's happening at the 4S Expo coming up here in just a few weeks.
September 23rd is the first day, and actually you can come on Friday the 22nd, bring your goats. But 23rd we'll have a seminar starting at 9, and then we'll go till noon. We'll break about 11:30. People can go to lunch. We're not serving lunch this year. Then we'll have a big show, and then that night, Saturday night, instead of Sunday, we're doing the sale Saturday night. We have about 49 lots of goats, and then on Sunday we'll have another show, so you can get the Boer Goat people can get certification points by attending both shows, and our sale goats, they can show for free, so that's kind of a new thing we've done for them.
And so this one also isn't directed solely to youth. This is one for anybody in the goat industry to come out and participate in the shows and sales.
That's correct, and we actually have a showmanship contest for the youth program too. And we normally give away a youth scholarship. This year nobody applied, which is kind of interesting. But we have a raffle dough, and that raffle dough, we use the funds from that for our youth program where we give scholarships. And so Corfields this year, Sandhills Boer Goats are doing the raffle. This raffle goes back to the original people that started the 4S Goat program, the male up-off. And so it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a circle type deal. So
well, and of course when you say the name Mel Uphoff, that is one that even has connections back here with the Rural Radio Network, as well as him being a member of the farm team. So as well, let's just talk the goat industry in general right now. Are you running any studies with the small ruminant side of things? What's happening there?
So most of the work I do is more educational type stuff. Most of the studies that are done with goat production are done, at Langston University. Some of our small land grants do the work there. But basically what we're seeing is people are wanting more commercial goats. The registered goat thing used to be really hot, and it's kind of backed off a little bit. Some of our big registered breeders are actually getting out of the business. But as far as the goat industry, there's still a lot of people that eat goat, and that's a pretty common thing. And if you look at per pound, sometimes goats will bring more than about anything we sell. So there's potential there. Still potential there. Prices are a little lower right now, but again, you got to get the holidays. If you want to sell goats, you sell them on those ethnic holidays, you're going to get a lot more money out of them. And so that's the key thing is market. Marketing is something you need to look into if you get in the goat industry.
Exactly. It all comes down to a solid timing as well as knowing what you have when it comes to having those small ruminants on the farm or ranch. As well, when you look at them from a range management perspective, what about co-op grazing with cattle? How are the goats fitting in there?
So what they do, they eat mainly the shrubs and type things. So if you get a lot of shrubs in your pasture, they'll clean it up and it'll look like the most beautiful grass pasture you've ever seen. And that's where goats can really help. And you can add a goat per cow or a sheep per cow, and still get the same rate. So you actually sell more pounds of meat off that same farm. Now, can you use the same fencing? Probably not.
That's to say, that is the one thing. And you yourself, your kids have had goats and different things as well. Yes. Do you have any thoughts, any theories, any tips or tricks when it comes to fencing in goats?
If it'll hold water, it'll hold the goat. So, but electric fence is really going to be helpful. The thing about goats is you got to get that predator control under control too, and so a dog or having them in at night is going to be really important because predators love small animals, and coyotes really do like goat and sheep. So those are some things you got to think about with goat production. The other thing, we showed some, and the key thing is when you're feeding a goat, you got to give it some hay too, because it's a ruminant. And if you just feed it grain, you're going to have some ruminant. You're going to have some issues with that stomach of that animal. And so,
that's one thing I've noticed as well. Is oftentimes we try to think of goats as just miniature cattle, but goats do not handle the starches and the high starch, high energy diets as well as cattle do.
That's correct. And if you look at the diet they select out in the wild, they'll actually select a higher diet than cows will. They don't like really tall grass, but they do love leaves of any kind of shrub or anything like that, and they'll pick the high stuff, but they don't like starch as much. You got to watch your starch content, so you want to have some forage in that diet, just like a ruminant, only maybe even more important than cattle.
And, when you're talking about the market right now, seasonality, we are just starting to come out of that summer slump. We're starting to come back into time frame. Is there a particular holiday that you really try to shoot for, a time frame of the year? And I guess let's just kind of talk any particular class that you think has the best marketability in different spots.
So Ramadan, that holiday, there's a lot of goat meat eaten. Easter would be another one. And so a lot of your Arabic holidays are really important with goat production, as well as some of your Eastern, like Easter, some of the Jewish holidays also. And that's where we see. So get that ethnic calendar out and watch it and try to market towards it. The problem is it changes. It's not consistent like our calendar, because they're on the lunar calendar, and it changes for those holidays.
There's a ton of great extension sites and things, though, that you can use to help gauge a lot of this. Randy, I apologize. I wandered a little bit from the 4S Goat Expo and what was happening there. Let's talk about the 4S Goat Expo, though. How long has it been going, and really what was that driving purpose when, like Mel Uphoff and some of those started it?
I think it's like the 22nd, and I've been here in extension about not quite 20 years. So Mel had it way going before that, and I don't know how long before that, but it's been going on. Original location was Lexington. We moved it to North Platte. It's a little easier for me to do it from North Platte because that's where I'm located. But we continue, and it'll range from anywhere from we've had as many as 150 people at that program to as few as 35. So it just kind of ranges on what people are looking at. It's one of those programs that we've had for a long time and continue. The thing about the goat industry, you got a lot of new people coming in all the time. So we got to constantly educate those people because you can get started in goats pretty reasonably priced, unlike cattle. I mean, it's just a cheaper way to start the industry. And a lot of people will start out with goats, and then they might get a few cows later on.
And that is really the thing. Do you think that that's a positive thing to note about the industry, the fact that you can kind of get essentially set up for less than $5,000 and kind of learn about the industry? Yeah,
that's the key, and don't get carried away. Buy a few, learn from them. And you can get in the goat industry really reasonable. And so, if you look at interest rates right now, it's pretty expensive to be buying things. So you can get started early with the goats, get some money, then go on to other species also if you want to.
Randy, for folks to follow along with the latest research Nebraska Extension is doing, as well as just keep up with the 4S Goat Expo and things, where do they need to be following? What do they need to be reading and watching?
So we do a beef. Every year we do all our research we do in beef, and that's a beef report, and that comes out. And so 2023 is out, next year will be 2024. That one has all our latest beef research. So if you can get on that and look at it, and we carry it in our extension offices, so if you stop in, you can get one at our extension office very easily. We also have a beef newsletter called Beef Watch. I have a sheep and goat website that's got a lot of links to different goat information. So we do have a guide sheet on goat production. We have several guide sheets on beef production. So
there's a ton of tools out there to take advantage of. You can check it all out, of course, with Nebraska Extension. Randy, one more time, give us the dates, times, 4S Goat Expo coming up in North Platte.
So September 22nd, you can bring your goat in, and September 23rd is when the seminar starts at 9, and then we'll have a show at noon, followed by the sale that evening, Saturday evening, the 23rd. And then the 24th, we'll have another show, another goat show. And we also do showmanship for youth. So we'll be giving awards for that also. We give a nice blanket away we're going to do it for the top seller this year, which is a little different we've done in the past. So.
There you go, Randy. Thank you so much. That's Randy Sainer, Nebraska Extension, your small ruminant specialist, sheep and goat specialist as well, joining us here inside the Rural Radio Network building just off Main Street at Husker Harvest Days.